Now I know what you're thinking. You read the title and you thought, this guy's a moron. And while you might be right, I'm probably the only person on the planet, other than all the other YouTubers, that can spend this kind of money on a mobile game and technically say, it's a business expense. However, that doesn't mean that while I'm doing it and I'm spending this money on the mobile games, I'm not feeling what most people would feel when they get to spend this kind of money on mobile games. And to be honest, I feel like I've got a pretty good impression of what it's like to spend just tons of money on mobile games. And I believe I can adequately describe whether or not mobile games are addictive and where that comes from. Keep in mind the entirety of this video is subjective. This is just my personal experience. The entire theme of the channel is the well pod. It's about dopamine, opening shards. You guys have seen my channel. I'm very much in this line of work. Starting right off the bat, most games tend to be extremely expensive when it comes to mobile games. And for the most part, whenever you really ask another mobile gamer why that is, like, oh man, the game's so expensive, they'll just be like, oh yeah, I know, it kind of sucks, right? But you sit down and you think about it, and there's not really any reasonable way to explain why these games are so expensive. Now, I've talked to many devs, directors, producers, whatever you want to call them, from multiple games: Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, Raid Shadow Legends, Dragon Champions, tons of other games that I never even went down the path in because I wasn't interested in. And what I will say is that regardless of who I've talked to, every single person that has been from a company has always said something to the extent that they're not making as much money as we think they are. Honestly, I purely just do not believe this, no matter who it was that was telling me. And that's purely because these games are ridiculously expensive. Now, that does not mean that because they're ridiculously expensive, they're making $1 billion, but the overhead on these games come from two things. It comes from the development team paying salaries, and it's going to mostly come from advertising. And what do I mean by advertising? Well, if we look at a lot of YouTube videos, let's use Raid Shadow Legends as an example, you're going to notice tons and tons of mobile game advertisements. And that's the reason for this is because mobile game advertising is actually extremely effective. For the most part, when you see a mobile game ad, the people who are running those ads are making significant money per ad, meaning click-through rates, download rates, purchasing rates once they download it, all of those things are pretty high. The numbers on games like these can be really high, and the reason for that being is what I'm mentioning. Advertising works, so they're willing to pay more money for that advertising because they know they're going to get a larger return on investment. They know if we pay, $20 to get a person into their game, which might seem a lot, once they're in the game, they have a pretty good chance of spending money. And once they do start spending money with icebreakers and stuff, once they slowly get into the portion where they're really committed in the game, then you start bringing out the $50 and the $100 packs. Now, there are multiple psychological tricks games like these will do in order to get you to make more purchases. And let's talk a little bit about those. And this video isn't going to go massively into depth on all of those, but I'm going to talk about a few basic ones. And some of the ones that I have noticed primarily in these type of games are three different styles. One of which is going to be a high and then a low offer. Essentially, it's called anchoring. They're setting expectations. So very often what you're going to see when you're in a game like these is you are going to see mini packs, offers, whatever have you, that are just really bad. They're just, I would never spend money on that. Why they even bother offering me that? I'm smart enough. I can't believe the people who would spend money on that type of packs, okay? And the reality of the situation is those packs aren't there for anyone to purchase. Those packs are exactly there for nobody to purchase, because when you do purchase a good pack, you're going to pat yourself on the back for not purchasing the bad one. This is a very common sales tactic trick. Like every salesman who's ever been through a 10-minute seminar will tell you they use this. I mean, I worked car sales for many years, and while you were there, all you would do is you would start, okay, how many billions of dollars do you want to spend on this car? Oh, you only want to spend $1 million? How about 100,000? You're not going to do 100,000? Fine, 55K and we're out the door. And basically, that's all they're doing. Now, another common trick is going to be a sense of pressure, meaning that these packs are limited time offers, meaning you only have a small amount of time to make the decision. And the majority of the time is if you wait longer to make that decision, you're probably going to think it out and not make the purchase. And so it's, you got to do it now. There's pressure now, sell now, 50% off, buy now, into the weekend, no financing, $100 down, get you out the door. And the other thing is that they make it very exciting to open these packs. If you watch, there's an animation, there's an explosion, there's a sound effect that goes with it. Oh, you did it. And when you post something that's rare, epic, legendary, something that you were like, oh, I got it, huge, and like, here's an epic, right? It's purple, big, oh, you did it. You hear, check them out, right? And it's essentially just a cheap trick to get your brain stuck on the little things, get stuck on the explosion, the excitement, just little bits of dopamine dripping in. It's the same thing they do really with like slot machines and stuff for most parts of, how it's when you pull a slot machine on. It's because while we may ourselves think objectively, I am an objective, logical person. These types of things do not work on me because I think about everything I do, and therefore, just sound effects and all that don't work. Trust me, they do. They even work on me. Like, I get more excited opening the shards than what I receive from the shards, to give you an idea. And that's enough to tell you that it probably works on me, okay? Because I get excitement just from seeing what's going to come out of the shards. And unfortunately, I think that a good chunk of the enjoyment for these type of games can come from the potential, the what if. And when it comes down to the what if is really what you're purchasing, not, I didn't purchase the blood painter, I purchased the what if, right? And sure, I didn't get the good what if I wanted, but I did get the what if. And the thing is, that is effectively, while you may not think it, that is what you are purchasing. And where a disagreement can come between the companies and people start doing refunds and get angry is where the discrepancy between what the company and what you think you're purchasing happens. So the company is saying you're purchasing the dopamine, you're purchasing the surprise mechanics. This is part of it. It's a Kinder egg. You're just enjoying what's inside. Whereas a lot of the user base, myself included, sometimes saying, hey, I'm actually trying to just purchase stuff in the game. And sometimes you guys come out with events at the last minute where it's like, sorry, you can't do it, and other stuff, and then refunds happen, like the Foley event, right? And they get a lot of bad feedback, and they say, maybe we shouldn't have pushed so hard on that particular trick because we pushed hard enough, it was too obvious, and people started, fighting back. So it really boils down to this. The market strategy for these games is they take new players, they turn them into heavy spenders. Heavy spenders eventually get burnout and they drop out of the game. You take all the money from the heavy spenders or even light spenders that eventually quit. You throw that back into ad revenue, generating more ads to bring more people into your game. And the cost of customer acquisition is high, but the total amount of payout you get per customer tends to be a pretty decent amount. So you get that in and they pay for new ones. And it's kind of a general constant rotating door, right? Of just letting people in and letting people out, and the people on their way out are pushing the door open for the people that are going in. And that's more or less how these games operate. Now, does that mean these games are addictive? Because that is kind of the general talking point of this. And I'm just going to tell you guys my subjective experience from spending $10,000 on mobile games, building a YouTube channel around it, playing multiple games, and I do this stuff all day long. Mobile games, either fortunately or unfortunately, depending on how you look at what I do, they are in fact they're my bread and butter, and it's my life at the moment. Now, I'm going to say, I think mobile games tend to be addictive, because from what I'm noticing is, like, for me, the emotions of spending money almost don't even matter. Like, I enjoy it, don't get me wrong, but I do it for the channel, and I do it because, like, I need characters in games, and it's for content, and I do it because of the business I'm running. But what I'm noticing is that while I'm doing, the spending and, opening stuff and having fun with it, I am actually really enjoying the shard openings, okay? If I wasn't extremely good about tracking all of my expenditures, being able to pay bills, future bills, savings for taxes, planning for studio equipment, in a very short time, we went from, just a crappy Walmart microphone to thousands of dollars of studio equipment, high quality. I'm pretty good about tracking my money, but I will tell you, if I was not, that these type of games would become a problem for me if I wasn't doing content creation. I could completely see it. And I do consider myself objective, logical, non-addictive type that could control myself. But I can totally see me spending large amounts of money on these games. I mean, before I even was doing the YouTube thing, I think I put $1,000 in the Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And I mean, that was a lot of money for me at the time, over time. And that's too much money for me that I've spent on that game before I was doing content creation. So with that in my memory, I'm going to say yes, I do actually think mobile games are addictive. And not only are they addictive, I think they're built that way. Not only do I think they're built that way, I know they're built that way, okay? And the thing is, all of us kind of know that too. It's just a question of how much we are willing to allow your addictive personality and these type of businesses to continue. Now, I don't know if I'm going to go and say that we need to destroy the mobile gaming industry, because honestly, they're making games for us all to enjoy, and the whales pay for the free-to-play people, and a lot of these games you don't spend any money on, and it is, in fact, buyer beware. Okay, that's really what it boils down to for me. So, guys, if you do have spending problems on these games, and you feel like opening up, feel free to leave a comment. I mean, I've got plenty of DMs from people over the year, me doing this, of people telling me, I mean, these are dozens of DMs over the time, and I don't respond to most of these because I feel like they're fairly personal, and people are just kind of like leaving a message to let me know that, they've quit mobile gaming because they've spent too much money, or they quit mobile gaming because their partner figured out that they spent, their mortgage or something on it. And what I want to say, guys, if you're starting to get concerned about the amount of money you spend on mobile games, that is entirely your business, but you are not alone, okay? I mean, the games are designed that way, okay? So don't feel bad about it, and talking about it's not embarrassing, because honestly, everyone on this channel, we all like it. We all like spending money on these mobile games. So I just wanted to get this topic out of the way, talk about it. I do think it's a fair topic to talk about if mobile games are addictive. And I like giving my personal opinion on little random bits of mobile gaming. So as you guys learn who I am and the channel and all that, you can kind of figure out me and where I stand on this stuff, because most of the time I'm just trying to have a good time, and I'm not really talking about the controversial stuff. It doesn't interest me that much, to be honest, but there you go. Okay, guys, I love you very much, and please keep subscribing. We are still gaining huge amounts, like 100, 200 subs a day. We're going to be 17.5 today, I think. I mean, it's growing quick, so we're going to hit that 20K soon. Okay, guys, 20K specials coming up, and I'll see you on the next video.